Good afternoon, traders. It's Bill Baruch with Blue Line Futures. And it's your daily midday market minute. We got the transports ripping. We have a central bank extravaganza. But before I get to it, if you're watching this on YouTube, please click the link below and subscribe. Like and subscribe. If you're watching from our website, there's also a link below to direct you to YouTube, and you can subscribe that way. We'd love you to follow us. We'd love you to help us build our following. All right, let's get to it. Yeah, the Dow Transports are up almost 5% on the week. They're just ripping higher. We've seen some volatility in the actual basic indices, though, too, today. The S&P built that nice floor yesterday for a decent close, and then it was shook off last night with the news that we could see an export ban of AI chips to China. NVIDIA was down as much as 5% overnight. It's worked its way back. It was actually unchanged on the highs today. We've seen some volatility. Again, that support level in the S&P, that was a big area from yesterday at 43.80 to 90, and then we were able to regain and turn positive intraday, and it sort of fed on itself. But the resistance levels we've highlighted is where the market did make a U-turn, and it's ironically it came just after NVIDIA said there was really no impact, no material impact. And then, Biden started talking. President Biden did hold his press conference around that time, too. So there's obviously a very volatile session because it all came on the heels of central bank heads all talking. You had Powell, you had Lagarde from the ECB, Bailey from the Bank of England, and Ueda from the Bank of Japan. But for the levels first, now with the S&P, the settlement from yesterday, 44.18, a settlement from Thursday, 44.23. That was major three-star resistance. I, though, made a note to make sure in the Morning Express it was known that we had pretty significant resistance just above there at 44.30. And that's where the market turned. We're battling just below that first area now. Right now is the market here heading in near the final hour, about 90 minutes left in the session. Can we get back into the highs of the day? Now, what I do like is the NASDAQ is hanging right at yesterday's high, right above that area. That's constructive, right at that opening bell high from Monday. So we're seeing some construction there. Now, from the central bankers, we didn't get anything new. Really, a lot of the same noise that we've been hearing, a lot of the same jargon. And you know what? That's actually a good thing. We don't need too much communication. They did reiterate that they're going to stay the path. Powell did note that he doesn't see a return to the 2% target this year or next year. So what does that mean? However, the markets are actually responded shortly after that. Handed to Sarah Eisen, though, from CNBC with the question, bringing up the topic of moving the inflation target higher. None of the central bankers did waver on that. They're holding at 2%, not going to change it in sort of the mid policy here. I think that's important. That was an important question to get answered. But as we've seen things evolve here, some volatility, as I mentioned, not just in equity markets, but you got crude trading higher, up nearly $2 here on the session, trading at 69.5, as high as 69.73. I've been talking about it this week in the Morning Express that we were expecting a drawdown to return in crude oil, sort of even out the previous couple of weeks. That's what we got. However, a big build of 6 million barrels in gasoline to offset a nearly 10 million barrel draw in crude oil. Still, we got gasoline higher by 7 cents here on the session. Crude holding up pretty well. Net imports did drop. They fell back from last week. So, that net import drop, they're not taking in more crude oil to help flush in and create a bigger stockpile of inventories. So that was averaged in there. So it's still a very wonky report, but I think it brought things back fairly even. $70 area is going to be some resistance. I've been highlighting that in the Morning Express. Still very interested to see how things react overnight with China. And the Chinese yuan weakened again today. So, right after a little bit of strengthening against the dollar yesterday, it's back down, weakening, where the CNH contract is higher, which is the CME Group's CNH contract. The Chinese yuan is actually the USD CNH. So when it's higher, it means the dollar is strengthening. And that's what we're seeing here on that today. But we're seeing the metals really take a hit here on the session. Again, coming off the lows, though, gold pinged 1911, and we're trading back above 1920 for settlement. That's important. 1911 is the 2011 high. Now, the fact, it's not always important to hold 1911. We've traded around 1911 quite a bit, but the fact that we went higher and retested the record high and then sold off, we want to see 1911, really build a base out above. I think that's important. Silver's had some really nice underlying strength that I think is well very important here. It traded and really pinged 22.79 low of the day, holding the spike high from Friday. I think that's important. As we move into tomorrow, we got more GDP data. We got more central bank talk, core PCE index on Friday. We got inflation data coming out of Europe. Tomorrow, I think Germany and the Eurozone, I believe, is the final read on Friday. So a lot of data still coming out. We also still have Chinese flash PMIs. So that's Thursday night. So a lot of stuff to finish out the week here. Just getting going. If you need anything, our team is always here to help. 312-278-0500. Remember, futures trading involves substantial risk of loss. It is not suitable for all investors.